Babadogo area in Nairobi County. It is a beehive of activity here despite the limited space. Felista Shiro, who is a mushrooms farmer, together with her team, are diligently extracting mushroom seeds from these bottles before planting them in these bags filled with nearly decaying grass, considering that mushrooms depend on decaying plants or trees for survival. After the bags are seeded, they are arranged in this room for growth. They are sprayed with a little water for moisture, which helps in the growth. 4 weeks later, we return here. The appearance of the room is breathtaking. The mushrooms are thriving.
This should be 3-4 days.
Shiro informed us that she started this farming after losing her business due to the COVID-19 pandemic that affected millions of people across the world.
This is oyster mushrooms. I've been farming for the past 3 years. And I never woke up one day, I just started farming. It was after character development ya maisha, after Corona. That is when I started farming. So one day, as I was just at a boring morning, actually, I went to my mother and I found her listening to somebody doing mushrooms. Then I got interested.
Since mushrooms do not require a large space, their farming is fairly easy.
Although I didn't have much money, I decided to go for the training, and that is how I started. I started very small with like 100 bags. And after the first yield, it was encouraging. So I decided to do it. Right now, I'm not doing 100 bags. I'm doing over 1,000 bags. Like the room that we are here, it is a capacity of 1,500 to 2,000 bags. Yeah, and a bag like this one, it's supposed to give you like 6 pallets. That is 1.5 kgs per bag. Yeah, so 1.5 kg times 2,000 maybe. This is how we package. As beautiful as it is, this is what we call a pallet, 1/4 kg. You know, actually with the structure, it's very funny. You see, I'm in town and in the middle of concrete. I call it a concrete jungle. This is a wall of an apartment, and that other one is a wall. I used iron sheets. Then I just covered up again with iron sheet and the insulator. And the house was so small. It was not even 10 by 10. Currently, I'm concentrating with oyster and button. Why oyster? Because most of the people knows mushroom from where they come from, even here in our country. Especially people from Nyanza, Western, coastal areas, they know mushrooms. And this one, it's more of the traditional one. For oyster, a kg is 600 on a lower side, and button is double, maybe 1,200, 1,500, depending on the season.
Years ago, mushrooms grew abundantly in natural forest. However, the destruction of forest, climate change and other environmental challenges have led to a decrease of mushrooms. It is due to this that the National Museums of Kenya initiated research to identify the types of mushrooms growing in Kenya and how to preserve them.
The major threat that we have on mushrooms, it is the habitat loss. Because mushrooms grow in nature, and one thing about mushroom is that their work is to degrade. Okay? As we said, it is to decay the organic matter. But what happens is that when we clear the forests, and yet we say that they are specialized. There are those that break down leaves, that is their work. There are those ones that break down twigs. There are those ones who will come now and break down the logs and the stumps, the hard stuff. There are those ones who, after every other organism has done its work, it just comes and just grows in the humus and just enjoys the nutrients that have been deposited through the work of other fungi.
There are types of mushrooms that are suitable for human consumption.
Coming to identification of mushroom, it's very technical, and that is where you see we have equipment such as the microscope to get into the microscope so that you can know if an edible species is cultivatable or not. Because a lot of people ask you one of the most common questions is, how do we know a mushroom is edible? It's not an overview answer. If you don't have indigenous knowledge about that mushroom being edible, do not try to eat it. This is the Ganoderma lucida. I mentioned before that it is actually used as a coffee. There's a coffee called Ganoderma coffee. It is prepared as Ganoderma coffee because of its potency and its uses as cancer. It has cancer-killing properties.
Shiro shows us how to prepare mushrooms.
Najua makunu uwekaji maji, iko na maji yake.
With lots of health benefits to human health.
I mentioned the Termitomyces species, the one that is highly edible. It is found everywhere. Even right now, I'm sure if we do nature walk, you may even be able to collect it just beside the river. This, apart from just eating it as part of your nutritional addition to your body, it also helps with a lot of stomach issues. And we know in health, everything in human nature starts from the gut.
Western and coastal areas of Kenya are known to grow abundant mushrooms, which heavily rely on natural forest.
So far, we have collections ranging from as far as Arabuko Sokoke. We've covered the whole of the North Coast and the South Coast areas. We have ventured into Mount Kenya region. We have ventured into Laikipia. That is the latest project that we are pursuing as we speak right now.
Forest conservation is key in the survival of mushrooms and other fungi.
It's threatened by that climate change itself. Because of those high temperatures, then you realize that they are not able to withstand. They're not able to withstand that. And that is why the international bodies have come up to advocate for the conservation of fungi.
Mushrooms provide a great employment opportunity, considering that their farming is easy with minimal need for capital.
It has been a sweet journey for 3 years now. I can say, the reason why I'm saying it's sweet is because I've also created job opportunities. I can say that I'm a proud businesswoman, a farmer, an urban farmer. You know, most of people don't like farming. It's involving, tiring, but I enjoy every bit what I do. I've employed like 6 people.
And as the world temperatures continue to rise due to climate change, conservationists and researchers are calling for conservation of natural forests and their ecosystems for the sake of Mother Nature. Dan Kaburu, K24, in Nairobi County.
Are you a church and seeking to reach an even bigger congregation? K24 TV and Kameme